Moments after Brian Pillman and Raven defeated the APA in the main event, we witnessed an absolute heinous attack. The Riotron showed us Owen Hart, the heart and soul of Team Cornette, the winner of the Battle Riot, and the man guaranteed a main event Riot Fest, left beaten and bloodied backstage by the Dangerous Alliance. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Arn Anderson, and Fit Finlay stood tall over Owen's unconscious body, sending a clear message. And while Paul Heyman claimed he had no idea this was going to happen, you gotta wonder, just how far will the Dangerous Alliance go to protect their dominance here in Renegade Wrestling? Owen Hart is not here tonight, and possibly won't even be able to compete at Riot Fest. But the Dangerous Alliance is here tonight, and their influence looms large over the evening. Now let's talk about what we got lined up for tonight. Raven, fresh off last week's tag team victory, will go one-on-one with Arn Anderson. And then in our main event, Brian Pillman steps back into the ring with none other than the Renegade World Champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And remember folks, all roads lead to next week's Violent Fest. It's going to be a show unlike any other as we close out the year in spectacular fashion. But for now, let's get things rolling. Pans across the excited crowd as CM Punk, the Metropolitan Champion, makes his way in the ring, carrying the title proudly on his shoulder. He grabs a microphone, smirking as the fans boo him loudly. Week after week, I prove exactly what I've said since day one. I'm the best wrestler, the best talker, the best champion. And yet, I keep hearing whispers from people who call themselves the future, who think they're the present, who think they're better than me. Well, let me make something crystal clear. I'm not a future. I'm not a potential. I'm not a maybe someday. I am the now. I am the genuine thing. And I'll just say it. I prove it week after week, match after match, title defense after title defense. So to whoever's watching in the back, and yeah, I know you're listening, kid. Tonight, I'll prove it again. Well, if you didn't catch it, folks, that kid Punk's talking about, he's throwing some shade at Randy Orton after Orton's win last week and his claim he's ready for gold. CM Punk continues. So here's how it's going to happen. Right now I'm initiating an open challenge for my Metropolitan Championship. It doesn't matter who steps through that curtain. Whoever you are, I'll show you why this title stays right here on my shoulder. Step up if you dare. The crowd erupts as low-key, intensive focus steps onto the stage, staring daggers at Punk as he makes his way to the ring. Well, business just picked up. Low-key answer the call. This man is dangerous, and he's made a name for himself all around the world. Punk may have bitten off more than he could chew tonight. Low-key grabs the microphone and stares Punk down. You want a challenge? You've got one. But let me tell you something, Punk. The only thing you're proving tonight is how easy it is for me to take that title off you. Punk smirks, shaking his head, holding the title high in the air as Low-key drops his mic and prepares for a fight. The referee enters the ring, signaling the match is about to begin. This is going to be a barn burner. CM Punk defend his Metropolitan Championship against Low-key. It's coming up next. Come back from break and the bell rings as Punk and Low-key circle each other. Low-key starts the match aggressively, using his rapid strikes and martial arts background to take Punk off guard. Punk rolls out of the ring early to collect himself, smirking as the crowd boos him. Low-key doesn't let up though. He dives through the ropes to take Punk down on the outside with a suicide dive. Low-key showing Punk that he's not just some filler challenger. He's here to win the Metropolitan Championship tonight. Low-key rolls Punk back in the ring and continues his assault with stiff kicks, backing Punk into the corner. Punk counters with a thumb to the eye, drawing jeers from the crowd, and follows up with a swinging neckbreaker for a 2 count. He slows the pace, working over Low-key's neck and back with a series of holds and strikes. Low-key rallies, fighting out of a sleeper hold with several strikes and then a spinning kick that stuns Punk. He follows it up with a springboard roundhouse kick for a pin. 1, 2, kick out. The crowd is on their feet as Low-key goes for the key crusher, but Punk slips out and nails him with a roundhouse kick of his own. Counter after counter, these two are putting on a clinic. Punk hoists Low-key onto his shoulder for the GTS, but Low-key reverses it into a roll-up. 1, 2, kick out. Punk, now visibly frustrated, hits a high knee in the corner and transitions into a bulldog. Sensing the end, he again lifts Low-key up onto his shoulder, and he successfully hits that go-to-sleep. Punk collapses on Low-key for the pin. 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. Here's your winner, CM Punk. And CM Punk retains. Love him or hate him, this man knows how to win a big match. Punk grabs his title and kneels to the ring, looking smug as the crowd boos. He leans against the ropes and motions for the camera to come closer. Orton, I'll see you next week, Punk says in the camera as he smirks and holds the Metropolitan Championship high in the air before exiting the ring. Did you hear that? Punk just called out Randy Orton. If Commissioner Cornette signs off on it, we could be seeing Punk versus Orton for the Metropolitan Championship next week on Riot. What a showdown that would be. Kind of commercial. Come back from commercial break to the ring where Teddy Long and Shelton Benjamin stand, microphone in hand. Shelton has the national championship draped over his shoulder, and Teddy Long has a confident smile as he addresses the crowd. Now hold on a second, players. I keep hearing all these folks running their mouths, talking about how they're coming for championship gold. Well, let me make something crystal clear. You want gold? You know where to find my man right here, Shelton Benjamin. But I'll warn you right now, step up if you want, but when you step up to the champ, you're going to get knocked down. Holla, holla. Shelton adjusts the title on his shoulder, spraying confidently. That's right. Week after week, I proved why I'm the most dominant national champion in Renegade Wrestling. People love to talk about what they're going to do, but when they step in this ring with me, they realize talk is cheap, and I'm all about the Benjamins. So if anyone back there thinks they're ready to take this title from me, come on out. I'm not hard to find. The crowd roars with anticipation as Shelton paces the ring, daring someone to step up. Suddenly, the crowd erupts as Christian walks on the stage with a mic in hand, smirking as he looks down at Shelton and Teddy. Shelton, I gotta hand it to you. You've done a hell of a job holding on to that title. But let's be honest, you've been waiting for a real challenge, and here I am. You see, I don't need to talk about stepping up. I just do it. So here's the deal. Next week, at Violent Night, how about I make your Christmas a little less merry, and take that national championship off your hands? The crowd cheers loudly as Christian stares down the champion. You want a shot at this title? You got it. But let me tell you something, Christian. You're not stealing my Christmas, my New Year, or this title. Next week you'll find out why I'm the national champion, and why you're just not ready. Christian smirks unfazed as he motions at the belt. We'll see about that, Shelton. Violent Night is going to be your last stand. Christian drops the mic and walks off as Shelton and Teddy stare him down from the ring. Shelton raises the national championship high as Teddy shouts words of encouragement. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. Next week at Violent Night, Shelton Benjamin will defend the national championship against Christian. Will Shelton prove he's the most dominant champion, or will Christian's confidence carry him to gold? Commercial break. Come back from commercial break, the camera focuses on Michael Buffer standing in the center of the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, weighing at 235 pounds, Robert Roode. Roode makes his way to the ring with his trademark swagger, smirking against the crowd boos. And his opponent, from Salisbury, Texas, weighing at 360 pounds, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. The crowd reacts to a mix of cheers and awe as the imposing figure of Henry marches to the ring, focused, ready for action. Mark Henry is an absolute powerhouse. If you've been paying attention to rides, you know he's been on a tear lately. But let's not count out Robert Roode. He's as crafty as they come. The bell rings and Robert Roode tries to use his speed to avoid Henry's power early on. Roode lands quick strikes and even manages to chop Henry down to one knee with a series of drop kicks. However, when Roode attempts a neck breaker, Henry counters, shoving him across the ring like a rag doll. Henry takes control using his overwhelming strength to dominate Roode with a massive body slam that echoes throughout the arena. Roode tries to mount a comeback by targeting Henry's leg, hitting a chop block and locking in a single leg Boston Crab. But Henry, he powers out of the hold, flinging Roode halfway across the ring. As Roode gets back to his feet, Henry levels him with a devastating clothesline. The world's strongest man follows up with a splash in this corner, leaving Roode dazed. Henry signals for the finish, lifting Roode high into the air and planting him with the world's strongest slam for the decisive victory. 1, 2, 3. Here's your winner, Mark Henry! Henry grabs the microphone as Roode rolls out of the ring, clutching his ribs. The crowd cheers as Henry stands tall in the center of the ring. I told y'all before, I'm the world's strongest man, and there ain't nobody here that can stop me. I've been dominating anywhere I go, and Renegade Wrestling is no different. I don't care who you are, where you're from, or what you've done. Hell, you can even be from the Serengeti. It doesn't matter. If you step in this room with me, you're going to find out why I'm the strongest and most dominant force in this business. Henry slams the microphone down with authority. Mark Henry sending a message loud and clear. He's out here to dominate. Is there anyone in Renegade Wrestling who can stand up to the world's strongest man? The camera lingers at Henry staying tall in the ring before fading to commercial. Come back for break. The camera comes to the backstage area where Sting stands in a dimly lit room, his signature black and white face paint streaked with intensity. His baseball bat rests on his shoulder as he glares into the camera. Undertaker, you think you've won? You think what happened inside Hell in a Cell at Last Stand was the end of this? Let me tell you something. You can't bury what isn't dead. And me, I'm far from finished. Sting lowers the bat, pointing at the camera. You may call yourself the phenom, the dead man, but what you did to me in that cell only awakened something darker inside of me. You thrive on fear, on intimidation, but you're not looking at someone who's scared. You're looking at someone who's ready to fight, who's ready to take this to places even you haven't dared to go. Sting steps closer to the camera. This is over by a long shot, Undertaker. You tried to bury me, but you failed. And when the time comes, it'll be you staring into the abyss. It'll be you wondering what's next when the stinger doesn't stay down. So keep riding high with your Death Krew. Keep thinking you're untouchable, because sooner or later, your time is coming. Sting rests the baseball bat across his shoulders again and stares in the camera. Don't forget, Undertaker. The only thing that's inevitable in life is the sting. The camera lingers on Sting menacing stare as the screen fades to black, as we cut a commercial. Come back from break to Missy Hyatt in the back and standing in the interview area with a microphone in hand. Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Hugh Morris, collectively known as the Laughing Harts, flanking her. Both men are in their wrestling gear, with Neidhart stroking his iconic goatee and Morris letting out a low chuckle. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guests at this time, the Laughing Harts, Jim Neidhart and Hugh Morris. Tonight, the two of you face off against the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, in a match to determine the number one contenders for the National Tag Team Championships. How are you feeling heading into this high-stake bout? Neidhart stroked his beard. Missy, tonight's the night. The Laughing Hearts are ready to show everyone why we're the next big thing in tag team wrestling. The Outsiders, they're old news. Sure, they got the name, they got the swagger, but what they don't have is the raw power of the Anvil and the unpredictability of my partner here. Hugh Morris let out an exaggerated laughter. That's right, Jimmy. Hall and Nash can strut all they want, but when they step to that ring, they're going to find out real quick that it's not so funny being on the other side of chaos. Tonight, the Laughing Hearts are all about breaking jaws and breaking dreams. Well, the Outsiders are no strangers to a big match situation. What makes you too confident that you can pull off the win tonight? What makes us confident, Missy? It's simple. We're hungry. The Outsiders have been coasting on their reputation, but we've been putting in the hard work. We're a team that's unpredictable, unrelenting, and unstoppable. Hall and Nash think they're walking into another easy payday, but the joke's on them, and the punchline? Us, with our hands raised, one step closer to the National Tag Team Gold. Well, it sounds like you're both ready for this opportunity. Any final words for your opponents tonight? Yeah, Hall, Nash, bring your A-game, because you're stepping in that ring with the future of this division. And after tonight, the only thing you'll be laughing about is how badly you underestimated the Laughing Hearts. Hugh Morris bursts into another fit of laughter, slapping Neidhart on the shoulder as the two walk off. Missy watches them go, turning back to the camera. There you have it. The Laughing Hearts are confident and ready to take on the Outsiders in a match to determine the number one contenders for the National Tag Team Championships. Cut a commercial break. Come back from break. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. And it is for a number one contenders match for the National Tag Team Championships. Introducing first, at a combined weight of 633 pounds, representing the club, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, the Outsiders. The Outsiders make their way down to the ramp to a chorus of boos, Hall doing his signature strut while Nash looks menacing. The two smirk, soaking in the crowd jeers. And their opponents, at a combined weight of 545 pounds, the team of Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Hugh Morris, the Laughing Hearts. The Laughing Hearts storms the ring with determination, Neidhart glaring at the Outsiders while Morris laughs maniacally. The crowd gives them a decent pop as they slide into the ring. The bell rings and it's Kevin Nash starting things off with Jim Neidhart. Neidhart uses his strength to shove Nash back in the corner, but Nash fires back with heavy elbows and knees. Nash tags in Hall, who takes over with some cocky offense, slapping Neidhart in the back of the head. But Neidhart, he doesn't take that. He fires back with a shoulder tackle, sending Hall flying. He tags in Morris, who comes in hot with a flurry of punches and a running corner splash. Hall stumbles and Morris plants it with a spinning power slam. He goes for the pin. 1, 2, Hall kicks out. Morris would follow it up with that top rope moonsault. No laughing matter on Hall. He goes for the pin. 1, 2, but Nash breaks up the pin at the last second. Neidhart tags in and locks Hall in the anvilizer. But Triple H and Shawn Michaels appear at ringside, causing a distraction. Morris jumps off the apron to confront Michaels, but Triple H blindsides him with a forearm to the back of the head. Neidhart, distracted by the chaos outside, walks into a huge big boot from Nash. Hall recovers and delivers that Outsider's edge to seal the deal. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here are your winners and the number 1 contenders for the National Tag Team Championships, the Outsiders. The Outsiders celebrate in the ring, raising their arms, while Triple H and Michaels smugly applaud from the ramp. The Laughing Harts try to regroup, but the numbers game overwhelms them as Michaels and Triple H storm the ring to deliver a post-match beatdown. Suddenly, AJ Styles sprints down the ramp, wielding a steel pipe. Michaels and Triple H scatter, rolling out of the ring. Styles slides in, swinging the pipe and narrowly missing Hall and Nash as they escape as well. Styles is away for an invitation. He's here to send a message to the club. AJ paces the ring, daring anyone to come back as the club regroups on the stage, pointing and yelling at Styles. The Outsiders may have punched their ticket to Revolution X, but AJ Styles just made it clear he's not done with the club. What's next for this brewing war? The camera focuses on AJ standing tall in the ring as the show cuts to commercial break. The camera cuts to a darkened corner of the backstage area. Raven seated on a crate, the shadow of his hair obscuring his face. The faint flickering of a hanging light sways above him. It all starts with ego. Your ego, Austin. Last Stand, you couldn't help yourself, could you? You had to be the hero, the savior of Team Heyman, and in doing so, you destroyed everything around you. Your pride cost us that match, but it cost me much more. Because of you, Austin, because of your need to be the center of attention, Jim Cornette now holds the keys to Riot. And what did he do with that newfound power? He dismantled the flock. Sean O'Hare, gone. Rhino, gone. Everything I built, stripped away in one fell swoop, because of your arrogance. And now you parade around as though you're untouchable, clutching that world title like a child holding his favorite toy. But the cracks are showing, Austin. Your empire is rotting from within. The Dangerous Alliance, a house of cards. You couldn't hold it together. You couldn't even hold yourself together. And tonight, it begins. First, I'll break your enforcer, Arn Anderson. And then, next week at Violent Night, I'll take from you the one thing you value most, the Renegade World Championship. Raven leans close to the camera. You call yourself Stone Cold, but let's face it, you're brittle, Austin. You know it, I know it. You swag around with your beer in your hand and a target on your back. And when you stare into my eyes next week, you'll see it. You'll see the truth. I'm not just here to win. I'm here to take everything from you. Arn Anderson, tonight, you're the warm-up act, the sacrificial lamb. But Austin, you're the main event. And your reign, your empire, your ego, it all ends at Violent Night. Quote the Raven, nevermore. Raven walks off into the shadows as the camera lingers on the dark, empty space he leaves behind. The sound of faint, echoing footsteps fade as we cut a commercial break. Come back from commercial break. The camera cuts back to the arena as Michael Buffer stands in the ring, microphone in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing at 255 pounds, representing the Dangerous Alliance, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson. The crowd boos as Arn Anderson marches to the ring, his trademark scowl on full display. And his opponent, from the Bowery, weighing at 235 pounds, Raven. Raven slowly walks down the ramp with a smug look of determination on his face. He slides on the ropes and sits in the corner, unfazed by Arn's glare. The bell rings and Arn Anderson charges at Raven, looking to make a statement for the Dangerous Alliance. Anderson uses his experience to dominate the opening minutes, trapping Raven in the corner with stiff punches and elbows. Arn hits a big spinebuster early, and the crowd roars, sensing a quick finish. But Raven wisely rolls to the outside, frustrating Anderson. The referee starts the count, but Raven slides back in at 8. Anderson continues his attack, targeting Raven's midsection with stomps and body shots, grinding the pace down. But Raven counters a second spinebuster attempt with a swinging neckbreaker that turns the tide. Raven slows things down, locking in a ground headlock, wrenching it at Anderson's neck. Anderson fights to his feet and lands a series of gut punches to break free. He bounces off the ropes for momentum, but Raven catches him with a knee to the face. Raven takes control, hitting a bulldog. He goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out. He shouts at the crowd before dragging Anderson to his feet. Anderson counters a desperation DDT that leaves both men down. The referee begins the 10 count, but both men struggle to their feet at 6. Arn fires back up, landing a series of stiff right hands. He backs Raven into the ropes, but Raven ducks a clothesline, and he spins Arn around, and he delivers that even flow DDT. Out of nowhere, even flow DDT. This has got to be it. Raven makes the cover. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here's your winner, Raven. Raven barely gets to his feet when the crowd erupts with boos. Fit Finley and the ep18 storm down the ramp, led by Paul Heyman, who is barking orders at the top of his lungs. Raven looks around, sees the incoming danger, and quickly slides out of the ring. Here comes the cavalry. The Dangerous Alliance is out for blood. Finley and the ep18 slide in the ring, but Raven hops the barricade, slipping into the crowd as the fans cheer. Finley leans on the ropes, yelling at Raven to come back, while Bradshaw and Farouk kick the bottom ropes in frustration. Raven hightails it out of here. He knows when to pick his battles, but the Dangerous Alliance isn't going to forget this night. Next week at Violent Night, Raven might not be so lucky when he faces Stone Cold for the world title. The camera focuses on Raven standing halfway up the crowd steps, grinning as Heyman screams in anger from the ringside. The shot lingers on Raven, confident, unfazed, as the scene fades to commercial. Come back from commercial, we cut to the backstage area where AJ Styles is standing by. You know, Kevin Nash thought he could put me down at Last Stand. He thought that just because he's bigger, he's stronger, that he could stop me. But guess what? He couldn't. I took everything that he threw at me, and I beat him. Clean. 1, 2, 3. Kevin, I hope you're feeling that loss every time you take a step today. But don't think for a second this means I'm done with the club. Oh no. Nash was just the start. Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall, Triple H, you can call yourselves the club, the Wolfpack, whatever you want. But all I see is 4 men too scared to face me one-on-one. Shawn, you talk a big game. You said I was on your level. That was just the guy who carried your bags. But at Last Stand, I proved that I don't carry bags. I carry momentum. I carry drive. And I carry victories. You cost me the world title because you couldn't stand the idea of me being in your spotlight? Well, I hope you're watching the real close, because this isn't over. 1 down, 3 to go, and I'm going to take every single one of you apart. I'll hit you where it hurts, and I'll make sure you know that this is my time, not yours. You can't stop me, you can't hold me back, and you sure as hell can't put me down. So Shawn, Hall, Hunter, get ready, because the club's time in Ring Riot is coming to an end. The hunt's on, boys, and I'm just getting started. AJ storms out of frame as camera lingers on the empty space. AJ Styles is riding high after his victory over Kevin Nash at Last Stand, but he's far from finished with the club. Who's next on Styles' hit list? Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Scott Hall? You can bet the club will be watching their back after that message. Cut a commercial. Come back to Riot from the commercial break for the main event of the evening. We're going to stick with this until the finish. Karen pans over the roaring crowd as Michael Buffer stands center ring with his microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. Scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, accompanied by Daphne from Cincinnati, Ohio, representing the Flock, Brian Pillman. The ring erupts in boos as Pillman saunters out with Daphne by his side, a devilish grin plastered on his face. Daphne cackles loudly as the two make their way to the ring. And his opponent, accompanied by Paul Heyman from Victoria, Texas, he is the Renegade Wrestling World Champion, the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. The crowd erupts as Stone Cold Steve Austin storms out to the stage. Heyman walks closely behind, looking confident as Austin marches to the ring, holding the Renegade World title high in the air. Austin climbs the turnbuckle, flipping off Pillman before dropping down. The bell rings, and we start. Austin charges at Pillman at the sound of the bell. They take him down immediately with a double leg takedown and pummel him with fists. Pillman scrambles out, rolling to the floor to regroup with Daphne. But Austin follows. He grabs Pillman and slams his head into the steel steps. The crowd roars as Austin flips off the crowd before tossing Pillman back into the ring. Pillman, now desperate, crawls to the corner, but Stone Cold stomps a mud hole into him. The referee pulls Austin back, giving Pillman a chance to recover and rake the eyes of Austin when he comes back in. Pillman immediately follows up with a low drop kick to Austin's knee, chopping the big man down. Pillman takes control, relentlessly targeting Austin's leg. He stomps the knee and wrenches it back with a leg lock, grounding the champion. Daphne shrieks encouragement from ringside as Pillman sneers, taunting Austin. Austin rallies, reaching the ropes and forcing the break. Austin fights back with a hard right, followed by a Lou Thez press that sends the crowd into a frenzy. He rains down punches before hitting the ropes for a knee drop, but Pillman rolls away. Austin lands hard, clutching his knee as Pillman swoops in with a figure 4 leg lock. Austin screams in pain, trying to fight out, as Heyman pounds on the apron, barking orders. Austin finally flips the hold over, reversing the pressure and forcing Pillman to break. Both men are down as the referee begins his count. Austin manages to get to his feet first, signaling for a stunner to a thunderous pop. Pillman stumbles up and Austin goes for it, but Pillman shoves him off. Austin bounces off the ropes and Pillman nails him with a spinning heel kick. He covers. 1, 2, kick out. Pillman can't believe it. He climbs to the top rope, looking for a high-risk move. As Pillman dives, Austin catches him midair and delivers a massive stunner. The crowd explodes as Austin crawls for the pin. 1, 2, Daphne pulls the referee out of the ring. The referee yells at Daphne, threatening to eject her. Paul Heyman storms over, shouting in Daphne's face. Meanwhile, Austin's back up, yelling at Heyman to focus. Suddenly, the crowd erupts as a figure emerges from the sea of fans. It's Raven, wearing his tattered jacket. Raven hops the barricade and slides in the ring unnoticed by Austin or Heyman. Austin turns around, and wham! Raven plants him with a chair shot to the head. Pillman, still groggy, crawls over and drapes an arm over Austin. The referee, finally back in the ring, makes the count. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here's your winner, Brian Pillman. The crowd erupts in boos as Pillman rolls out of the ring, barely able to stand. Daphne shrieks with joy, pulling Pillman up and raising his arm. Raven slips back to the crowd the same way he came. What the hell did we just witness? Raven came out of nowhere and cost Stone Cold Steve Austin this match. Pillman walks away with the win over the Renegade World Champion. But Austin, he's got to be seeing red tonight. The camera cuts to Paul Heyman, who looks absolutely stunned on the ring, stunned on the outside, trying to piece together what just happened. Pillman and Daphne celebrating the crowd with Raven disappearing back into the crowd. Austin, now sitting up in the ring, clutches his head and stares daggers towards the crowd, seething with rage. This is chaos, and don't forget, Raven gets his shot at Stone Cold Steve Austin's title next week on Violent Night. What kind of revenge is Austin going to unleash after tonight? The show fades to black with Austin still in the ring, furious and ready for war.
This has been an FWA Network podcast production.